You said the updated slide.
Yeah, let me get the last number.
Okay, we're ready. Yep, we're rolling.
So yeah, that's. So it's not it's imposed, but they have
We'll call this, reconvene this meeting. It is 9:02. And we are on to new business item number 9B, to consider MD Marketing Solutions Service Agreement for Shorewood Today for 2019 and 20 through 2021. And has there, yep, Rebecca.
So on November 19th, the Marketing and Communications Leadership Committee met to discuss some alternatives given the board's prior actions to reduce the village's contribution for Shorewood Today to not to exceed $2,000. So the option that was selected and recommended to this group was that a fifth partner for Shorewood Today join the team, which would be the Shorewood Foundation. This would lower everyone's contribution to $3,000 and lower the village's contribution to $2,000. And the $1,000 difference between the village and the other four partners would be to recognize and compensate the village staff to coordinate the administrative tasks and act as the fiscal agent. So that is coming to you tonight for approval.
And there's, did you mention, is there any shifting of money anywhere else? I mean, like from a reserve fund or anything like that? No, it's just the straight up proposal that we talked about last time?
Correct. Well, whatever last time conversation we had, I'm not sure when that was, but.
The last member of the board? Oh, no.
I believe so.
Correct? Okay. Yeah, he's been to the board since.
No, it's not, this is the first time back at the board since our last time.
Okay, and did Shorewood Foundation say yes? Right?
Yes,
Okay, thank you to the Shorewood Foundation. I don't know who's here to represent them, but if they are and they're hearing me, big thanks to joining the partnership. So, any further discussion?
I will just
Trustee,
say that all the partners worked, really hard to focus and look at what we all could bring to it, and I'm just going to extend my appreciation for all the collaboration.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second?
No, I'll move that.
Okay,
Oh, wait, go ahead.
I'll move to approve the service agreement for MD Marketing Solutions to produce and design the Shorewood Today magazine from 2019 to 2021.
Second.
okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? If not, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Look forward to a great year. And we're off to the next one.
Yeah,
I think we have one more motion that.
it's the printing.
Aha, so now we're going to go to new business number 9C, consider the Fox Company service agreement for Shorewood Today for 2019. Can I, do we usually state in the amount of, for contracts? I just feel like it's so much easier when you do the motion.
You can if you like.
The service agreement notes up to $30,000
Can we,
in some form if you want.
okay, I don't want to make the motion, but whoever makes the motion, that might be helpful when we look back.
Is it the same, it's different amounts though for the different years?
Okay.
It's the 1 year approval, isn't it, just for 2019?
So it's just 30,000.
Yeah, it's just 2019.
Oh, okay. No,
Just 30,000.
Oh, yeah. Up to, not to exceed.
And this, Rebecca, is this covered by the motion we just did, which is the.
No, it's actually separate, so we need a motion and a second to approve the Fox Company.
But the
Agreement for
costs,
Shorewood today.
so the costs are covered by the
Service agreement.
contract that we just,
No, it's under a separate service agreement. So what we're looking for is a motion to approve the Fox Company to print for purposes of distributed to Shorewood today, magazine in
no. I'll
2019.
move to approve the service agreement for the Fox Company to print the Shorewood Today magazine for 2019 up to an amount of $30,000.
Second.
and that comes from the revenue that we discussed in the first resolution, the last motion.
Yes.
Mark?
Yeah, I mean, both the professional service fees and the printing fees are detailed in the Shorewood Today budget. And that budget's balanced with the advertising revenues and the sponsorships, so that's consistent with how the budget was approved by the village board.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now we will go on to item 9D. Consider the 2019 to 21 natural turf maintenance contract. Who's taking this one away?
Leanne is here to address any questions that you have. This has been a topic of discussion in the past and for the budget. So this comes to you tonight for a 3-year term.
Leah, can you please go over it, because this is the natural turf, I remember a green team, and if they get the 3 contracts, there was some discussion that went on, but if you could just refresh us.
Sure. For a number of years now, the village has been maintaining its turf, what we would call naturally, so without the use of pesticides or herbicides. And this contract actually has 2 parts to it. There is the turf maintenance, which are known and detailed and quantified costs. The other component of the contract is mowing, and we have a per cut cost, and we generally estimate 18 cuts a season. That varies depending on weather, most primarily precipitation levels. So our estimated contract cost for 2019 is the $56,619. I think perhaps what you're referring to was some discussion during budget meetings that Green Team also in the past has held our streetscape contract, and they also held the snow patrol, what we call contract. There had been some indication by them that if they were not holding both the streetscape and the turf going forward, that they wouldn't be interested in the snow contract. I did reach out to them again last week to confirm that initial statement, and they said, we'll get back to you tomorrow. That was 5 or so days ago. I've left messages in the meantime, and so at this point I can only assume that their non-response means that they are not interested in the snow, but I have not heard that directly.
So in the meantime, the village staff has talked about an administrative procedure on how to pursue that moving forward that we plan to bring to the board and talk through with you. In such case, the green team is not willing to provide that service to the village.
Who else, was this our paid?
Yes.
And
Correct.
and I'm just looking at the memo really quickly, but who were the other respondents?
There was only one respondent.
The school, I had mentioned this to Rebecca, the school just signed a new mowing contract and they got a significant decrease in the expense. And do you know, have we reached out to that service provider?
The school does not manage its turf in the sense that we do. We do different practices, including aeration, overseeding, top dressing, the use of milorganite, which is not considered a pesticide or herbicide. So that's the natural turf component The school does not use pesticides or herbicides, but they don't do anything else either. They simply mow. So they don't manage their turf. They don't attempt to keep weeds down. They don't attempt to strengthen
Right.
those sorts of things. So no, we have not, because we're a little bit, you are a little bit ahead of your time in the natural turf world. And there were no other providers in the area who were willing to provide that service on the scale that we asked for it.
And you couldn't split them up, meaning, do you know how the mowing component of this contract compares?
No, you can't.
Okay.
When you're managing turf naturally, those two go hand in hand, and you have to manage them complementary and simultaneously.
Okay. Any further questions? All right, do we have a motion?
I move approval of a contract with the Green Team for natural turf maintenance services for the period of 2019 to 2021 at an annual estimated cost of $59,619.
Second.
Trustee Warren moves, trustee Bachor seconds. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We will now go on to our next contract. Consider 2019-2021 streetscape maintenance contract.
I'll just queue up here. So this is again for street maintenance and streetscape. And there were 3 vendors who provided proposals. The low vendor quote of which was by Villani Window Shapers, in the amount of $23,376.90. And that is coming to the board for approval this evening for a service period from 2019 to 2021.
Okay, does anyone have any questions?
I'd make a motion to approve the contract with Bologna Landscapers for streetscape maintenance services for the period 2019 to 2021 at an annual cost of $23,376.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Trustee Menta.
I just had a question. Is this just for capital, or is capital on Wilson?
No, it will be for Capital and Wilson, correct.
And so like the at the bottom of Alpine, we used to have kind of a natural area, but that's gone, right?
No, Alpine was turf and trees, and that is,
It's still there?
yep, and that's
I
Alpine.
thought Alpine was planted before,
Nope.
but Olive
Olive was, yep.
but Olive is not included in here. That, like those areas where we just have little plantings like Olive or the triangle at Lake Bluff and Ardmore,
No, that's done by our staff.
that's village, okay. So it's just capital and Wilson.
Correct.
What about, so is there any other medians?
No.
I mean, like Shorewood Boulevard?
George Boulevard does not have a boulevard median. Menlo does, but that's just turf. There are some small planting areas that our staff maintains, but it's mostly turf and trees.
Okay. Do we have a motion? Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next order of business is 9G, to consider ordinance 2097 to amend regulation of loading zones. Rebecca. Bart.
Zones.
So just as a brief introduction to the ordinance, which it is also in your packet, obviously. There's currently 2 systems of approving loading zones, one via, within the code, specifically approved by the board, another one approved by the village manager. Just in my time of getting here, understanding full breadth of those approvals has been difficult, I'll just say that. And so earlier in the year, there was a request for one that came through my office, and I kind of identified the issue that I didn't really understand the difference between the 2 approval processes. So it was early on in my to-do list of things to clean up. Then when the board discussion of budget came along, I also identified that typically loading zones in most municipalities do have a fee associated with them. And so that information was also provided in the memo. So my understanding is, my memory is back in August when those were presented, the village board provided some consensus in moving forward with the possibility of an ordinance amendment beginning in 2019 to provide an annual review and approval process for special privilege permits for loading zones. And so that's what's been prepared here. The second conversation of the actual approval process would be the village fee schedule, which is going to come up later in 9H2. But so the ordinance itself here, what it would do is it would rescind the two current approval processes and present one approval process, which would allow for loading zones by special privilege permits on an annual basis, subject to a fee as enumerated in the fee schedule. So that is what this item is generally requesting.
And this doesn't go to planning commission?
No, it would be a special privilege permit, just an application, similar to, outdoor seating, things like that. So the concept is that it would be an annual review. I've identified May 1st because that's a good time when, winter has passed and so we can start a new fresh season of that stuff. So I've identified that May 1st it would start as one